Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your March 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, I'm actually taking a little bit of a break from those. I'll probably start them up again around April. But if I do start to do them earlier than that, just check out the community section of the channel where I'll make an update there. But yeah, most likely it'll be around April, or maybe when I post the April videos at the very least. As far as what we have in front of us, we have a Celtic Cross spread as always, and then we have a couple of oracle cards we'll take a look at once we get through the main spread, and also a mudra card. So let's get started. In the main situation position, we have the Queen of Swords. So this is actually a Libra energy. Libra represents the seventh house of partnerships. Now, most people, their mind automatically goes to marriage in those cases, or at least serious committed relationships, but that can mean business partnerships as well. And for you guys, Libra energy is actually your 11th house. So this can be someone, maybe you guys are mending a friendship. Maybe you guys might have had a falling out with a friend and they're coming back around and trying to restore balance, or you're trying to restore the balance with them. But what I'm picking up on here more than anything is that there's some kind of negotiations at play. So whether this is actually based on some type of business negotiations, or again trying to get a friendship or a romantic relationship back on track, that's what I'm seeing, where there's some discussions at play where you guys are trying to restore the balance. Challenge or obstacle position, we have the Two of Wands. So maybe that's part of what this is saying with this coming up in a challenge position, is that the obstacle is no one's making the first move yet, because that's another thing that can be said about Libra energy sometimes, is sometimes they might think about something for so long as opposed to actually taking the action. So maybe that's the issue, where you and the other person might just be thinking about, oh, let me see, how do I want to reach out, but nobody's actually taking the action. So that could be why this is showing up in the challenge position here, saying that the challenge is for someone to actually make the gesture in order to restore the balance. This is Aries energy too, which for you guys is your 5th house of romance. So, there's going to be some energy moving through there. I think by the time March starts, I think, I'm trying to think of the dates. I think Venus might have already moved into Aries. If not, it's going to be moving into Aries pretty soon. And by the time we get into March, it's going to be moving into Taurus pretty early on. So maybe that's just pointing to that timeline there as well, as far as maybe that would be the ideal time to try to start these negotiations, especially since Libra is ruled by Venus as well. And let me see if anything else comes to mind. And for some of you, you might have to consider moving too. Maybe that's what you're realizing, that, maybe where you're living, like let's say it's negotiations for a job. Maybe you're getting paid a certain amount and you're coming to a realization that, okay, well, in order to get the type of compensation I want, I may have to move. So that could be what's stopping you at the time. You're like, okay, well, maybe you're weighing the cost benefit. Like, okay, I could stay here where I'm not necessarily making the money I want, but maybe you're comfortable where you are now. Or if I do want to get the financial compensation I'm hoping for, I may have to move. And that could be what, the issue is, especially, I'm recording this right after that Leo full moon that we had. So technically at the time I'm recording this, we haven't had that new moon in Pisces yet, but maybe that's around the time where you might start to consider that. New moon in your 4th house might have you consider moving. In the foundation position, we see the 6 of Pentacles. So this still draws me to the energy that I was seeing here, which was, again, discussing negotiations of some kind. Like I said, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a business partnership. Looks like that's what's at play here, where you're trying to get the balance restored. This is actually Taurus energy here, which for you guys is your 6th house. So for a lot of you, this can definitely be related to work. But, like I said, since it is a general reading, it could also be relationships. But, yeah, seeing this show up here and looking at the person in the 2 of Wands, given the position in the spread, they're looking right down to that 6 of Pentacles. So that could be what's at play too. Maybe the negotiations are going back and forth, but you're not going to take action until you feel like you get an offer that's worth your while, basically. So that could be what's at play here. Could just be showing that there's mutual interest, but until you hear that right number from them. So again, going back to the business scenario, right? Let's say you're in salary negotiations, and let's say initially they offer you 50,000, and you're like, well, I'm not really going to budge until they offer closer to 60, right? So this could just be you waiting to hear them say, okay, 60, since we do see the 6 pentacles there. Then you might say, all right, I'll be willing to move for that, right? So that could be what's at play there. Romantic relationships again, or friendships. Maybe this is someone just back and forth contacting you via social media, and you're just waiting to hear from them. Okay, well, now I could take this offer seriously. In the past position, we have the 9 of Cups. So this is actually Pisces energy here, and given that it's shown up in the past position, this can just be pointing to you feeling content where you were living. So again, going back to what I was saying, where maybe the difficulty is you're torn because maybe you could get greater money moving, but at the same time you might be happy where you're currently living. So that could be, where the back and forth is going in your mind. But here in general, either way, this represents contentment for the most part. Usually I say that this is someone who knows what they bring to the table, right? With those 9 cups behind them, and they're not willing to accept any less than what they feel they deserve. So again, and we could see that dynamic playing out here too. So no matter what type of relationship dynamic it is, it seemed like that was your position in the past. Like, okay, this is, where I'm at, and you weren't really going to budge off of that. That's what I feel. So maybe this is even you opening up to negotiating a little bit more. Maybe in the past you were a bit more stern and refusing to budge, but now maybe you're, getting there. Whether it be because they're sweetening the deal, or maybe you're just looking at things from a different perspective. In the present position, we have the Hermit. So this is Virgo energy, which for you guys is your 10th house. So again, between seeing the 6th house and the foundation and 10th house here, I definitely think for a lot of you, this is going to be related to work. And if that's the case, this could be you really looking at offers and really thinking it over and really considering what's best for you. So, I don't see you making any rash decisions. Definitely not. I see you really giving this a lot of thought. And if we put him back in the spread, it looks like he's looking down towards the 9 of Cups. So I feel like for a lot of you, that could be what it is. I'm really feeling that for the majority of you where the work scenario is resonating, the issue is you might be able to get more financial compensation, but it would require you to move, and you're really thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm happy where I'm living right now. So that's really what could have you stuck. Otherwise, if it was in the same area where you currently were, you'd probably be willing to take the offer in a heartbeat, right? What's interesting is in the near future position, we have the Chariot. So the Chariot actually is Cancer energy, which for you guys is your 8th house. So I can see this playing out a couple of different ways. For some of you, this could just be pointing to the fact that you do actually end up deciding to make that move. Because, Chariot, Cancer energy rules the 4th house, which is natural home, family. So for some of you, could actually make that decision to move, or maybe you might even just decide, all right, well, let me at least go visit the area and see, if it seems like a fit, right? So maybe you decide to take a trip out there. But for others of you, given that this is actually 8th house energy for you, Cancer is your 8th house, this could just be saying that this could also represent them offering more money. So again, in the negotiation aspect, where money you were waiting on in order to make your decision, maybe it might actually come your way in the near future. We do have the North Node moving through there too, and that transit's almost done. It's going to be moving into Gemini a little bit later this year. So yeah, maybe if there was some kind of offer you'd been waiting for, it might be coming through in the near future. And the position of your influence on the situation, we see the 3 of Wands. So to me, I feel like, especially with that 2 of Wands energy we see in the Challenger obstacle position, this to me makes me think of the 9 of Cups energy I mentioned, which was, you seem to be pretty firm on your position, and this is you waiting for that offer to come in. Or again, like I said, maybe you're getting a good offer elsewhere, but you're hoping for an offer to come in where you currently are so you don't have to move. So I definitely feel like there might be some dissatisfaction with how you're being compensated financially, but at the same time, you'd ideally like to stay where you are, not have to move, but realizing that, okay, I have this offer. Let's say it's, I don't know, a 5 hour distance from where you currently are now, right? Like, I have this offer available to me. I could take it, but I'm hoping that someone in this area is going to give me a similar offer or even something that meets in the middle, right? So you could still feel content with where you're living, but also get the financial increase. So that could be what's at play for some of you there. And if this is regarding a romantic relationship or perhaps a friendship, this might even be pointing to the fact that some of you might have been the ones who tried to extend the olive branch and you're waiting to hear back from that person. So that could be what's at play there. The reason I say that's the case is in the environment position, we have the Six of Cups. So, well, actually, there's more cards, but the Six of Cups I view as the, being the bigger person energy, extending the olive branch energy. If we just look at the artwork, it looks like quite literally this person's bigger than the other, and they're the one offering that cup, right? So that's why I say being the bigger person. So this could be one of the two of you deciding, all right, let me try to, reconcile this connection. Um, so for a lot of you, given that you're in the Three of Wands position, I feel like it might have been some of you who were actually the ones who took the action, and then you're just waiting to hear from this person. But we have some other cards that came up in this position. We have the Four of Cups, so that's more Cancer energy, actually. The Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter energy, which is your natural ruler. And then we also have Judgment. So, a few ways I could see this combination of cards playing out, because there's quite a few, right? So, for some of you, if you're the one who extends the offer to the person, what I feel might happen is initially it might be rejected with that Four of Cups energy. But with the Wheel of Fortune, I feel like with some time, if you let some time pass, they might reconsider and then actually be willing to reconcile the connection. That's one way I see it playing out. Now, for others of you, could be saying that this is someone actually extending the offer to you, and you're the one who initially rejects it, hoping for something, a better offer, and then making that move. So I feel like that would probably fit better with the finance scenario that we were mentioning. So again, like I said, maybe this is a job offering you, making you a salary offer, and you decline it because you feel like, oh, it's not good enough, right? Hoping that by doing so, that'll put the ball back in their court to offer you more with the Wheel of Fortune energy, at which point you would accept, right? And this could even be an old employer or, again, someone where you're currently living, right? Because if we think about Six of Cups, that's often an energy of long-standing connections. So this could be you hoping that, okay, maybe you let your employer know, hey, I have this other offer available to me, that's much more money, right? And you might tell them, you might be upfront with them, like, look, I'm hoping that you guys would match that, right? And then maybe they make you an initial offer, you decline it with hopes that it would turn around and they'll just offer you more, and then you can move forward with it. So that could be what I see playing out there. But yeah, if it's a romantic connection or even a friendship, it's a little bit difficult to see for sure, because given that we had that Two of Wands energy showing up in the challenge position, I did pick up that at least for some of you, they could be saying the issue is neither of you are making the move. And then if that's the case, seeing the Three of Wands energy here, that could still be pointing to you not making the move. So, in that case, maybe it is them extending the offer and then you're the one that's turning it down. But for others of you, if you are the one who does extend the offer and you might feel like it gets rejected, I would say just try to give it a little bit of time, because that to me what the Wheel of Fortune would be saying in that scenario. You got to give it a little time, let them reconsider, and then okay, with a little bit of time they'll agree to reconnect. All right, in the hopes or fears position, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is Taurus energy here. Now, I'm going to assume for most of you this is a hope, and again, this could be tied to the work scenario that we were talking about, right? Especially given that we see the Taurus energy there. This could just be you hoping, obviously, for a financial increase, right? And like I said, I feel for most of you, and then especially if we think about Taurus too, Taurus generally likes to stick to home base, right? They don't like to move around a lot like you guys normally would. Um, so this could just be you hoping that that financial increase is going to come your way where you currently live because you seem to be happy there. But at the same time, again, it seems like you're open to moving if you have to, but you're just hoping that something comes through for you where you are now. All right, and then we actually at the bottom of the deck too, I should mention we have the star card. So to me, this could just be asking you to have a little bit of faith and also communicate what you want too, because for you guys, this is Aquarius energy. For you guys, Aquarius is your house of communication. So it could just be saying, hey, you have to put out there what you do want. So if it is a financial increase you want where you're currently at, you might have to at least open yourself up to expressing to them that that's what you're hoping for, right? And like I said, for some of you, you might even go as far as to tell them, hey, I have this other offer in this, city. Like I said, maybe it's hours away, and you might be upfront with them and say, look, I'm hoping to stay where I'm at now, but it's, you might tell them it's hard for me to pass up that much more money, but like ideally, I like where I live, but I mean, this is a really good offer, with hopes that they'll try to meet you in the middle with that Six of Pentacles energy. All right, and then in the outcome position, we have the Three of Swords and the Ten of Wands. So this is actually more Libra energy, which we did see with the Queen of Swords there, and then this is actually Sagittarius energy. So to see this coming up in the outcome position, normally people see Three of Swords and they freak out, but what I would say, looking at these two cards in particular, if this is regarding a situation where, like I said, you guys might be the one to extend the olive branch to someone else, the Three of Swords might be if you feel that they initially decline it, right? With that Four of Cups, you might think that that's the end of it, right? And then you might look back and feel like, oh, I felt like I put so much work into this thing, right? And then you could just really be disappointed and then decide to leave the situation. If that's the case, I would say try to be a little bit patient with this person because given those energies I do see there, it looks like initially they might not receive the offer too well, but with a little bit of time, it looks like they would reconsider and actually be open to it. So just try to be patient in that regard, especially keep in mind we're dealing with Mercury retrograde energy too. So that's at play. For others of you, this might actually be pointing to what I was saying with the Chariot, where your disappointment might be that, you couldn't reach an agreement where you're currently living to get that financial increase. And then you might end up moving as a result, but still be disappointed about it, right? Because Libra energy is your house of friendships too. So this could be you coming to the realization that, all right, you're going to have to leave your friends behind, right? The connections you currently have behind and go elsewhere. Even if it's not moving to another city, this could represent the relationships you've built where you're currently working, right? And you're like, all right, well, I hope that I could stay at the company where I'm at now. But now you're taking those 10 wands, which could represent your experience, right? And moving on to the new place. So that could be what's at play there. For the majority of you, I don't necessarily see this as like heartbreak in a relationship sense. Like I said, because if anything, it looks like that's already taken place if that's the case, since I see some reconciliation type energy. So if you do offer the olive branch to someone, just try to give it a little time. All right, moving on to the oracle cards. First, we have exchanging gifts. There's the artwork, and the number is 27. Okay, it says the law of giving and receiving, currency, trade-offs, weighing cost, and determining value. I mean, we could definitely see that dynamic in the cards we were talking about earlier. The oracle's message says you're entering into a productive and enriching time when all manner of opportunities are being offered to you. You have everything you need to seize them. Yet in order to honor them, you must put in the time, exchange your experience and skills, and commit heart and soul to what you're choosing to pursue. You can do it. You have what it takes to be successful if you align with the law of giving and receiving. You must engage in a dance of give and take, push and pull, doing and being. If you let fear guide your choices, you could deplete yourself or create an imbalance. This is not a time of just do, do, do. Use your currency wisely and be mindful of the value others bring to your life. So, interesting message there, and maybe that's what I was saying too, where maybe in the past some of you really had your feet dug in with the Nine of Cups energy, because that is one way it could play out, where you might have been the one who didn't necessarily want to negotiate, and maybe now you're reconsidering that to an extent. All right. The relationship message says love is an exchange of life force energy between two beings. It grows exponentially when it's reciprocated. You must give and receive in order for love to flourish and abundance to flow between you. Spirit wants you to start accepting all the blessings waiting for you, as well as offer the same gift in return. Open your heart and allow it to be filled. Let love in and let it flow out of you too. Love is truly yours today. So, interesting message there as far as, like I was saying, the Nine of Cups and then the Three of Wands energy here too, where it could be one of those things where that could be where it's talking about the give and take, where maybe it's even this person who feels like they've always been the one giving. And now it might be your turn to pitch in a little bit in that regard as well. And then maybe that could even be the other person in that case, even though this is Sagittarius energy. They're the ones who might feel like they've been the ones who always put in the work and don't get anything in return. So you guys would know if that applies for you. The prosperity message says, all your hard work and efforts, your commitment to learning, creating, and spending your time wisely pay off in ways you may not have been anticipating. The gifts of yourself, your time, your ideas, and the energy of your intentions are being reciprocated by the universe, which is sending you signs and signals, aligning synchronistic meetings and opportunities to bring you success and more. Everything is an exchange. Keep doing what you're doing. Goodwill comes back tenfold. So, interesting message there, and that makes me think of the fact that with this Three of Wands energy representing that waiting for your ships to come in, which is often how it's said, I feel like what that could be saying there is, if you have put in the work, try not to lose that faith and confidence, right? And understand that if you did put in that work, even if it takes a while, right? Or maybe even if initially it seems like it's not much, eventually it could grow into what you're looking for with that Wheel of Fortune energy. So, something to keep in mind there. Hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right, moving on to the next oracle card. You guys got Turtle Spirit. It says, slow and steady wins the race. There's the artwork, and the number is 62. Okay, it says, Turtle Spirit arrives to remind you that when you do what you need to do, putting one foot in front of the other and trusting that you will see your intentions manifest in perfect timing, your prosperity and love will grow exponentially. Now is not the time to rush around trying to force matters. Move slowly, perhaps even so slowly that it almost feels as if you are not moving at all. This may be a time to crawl before walking, taking your time to align to Turtle Spirit's place as you contemplate this road you're on, doing what you need to do in this small moment that will soon pass. Turtle Spirit reminds you that sometimes the best action is to slow right down, so if it feels as if you are not doing enough, know that simply being aware of what is happening right now may be an important step toward determining whether you need to pivot or simply keep putting one foot in front of the other. True love and true success come with patience, says Turtle Spirit. Focus on the now, and the next step will be clear. So, definitely an interesting message there, and probably pretty good advice in general, given that, like I said, we are going to have Mercury retrograde energy at play too, but hopefully that resonated with you guys. All right. And the last thing we have is a mudra card. So the mudra you guys got for this month is the Surabhi mudra. This is it there, and the keyword for it is generosity. So makes me think of the exchanging gifts oracle card we saw first, right? Maybe even that Six of Cups. All right, let's see. Trying to get it to focus. There we go. All right, it's a lot on the card here, but if you guys want, you could just pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say. But it says balances Vata dosha and awakens Manipura chakra, treats cough and bile disorders, improves memory, reduces inflammation, especially related to rheumatism, awakens empathy, gives insight into one's hidden gifts and talents, and how these can be used to benefit all beings, increases devotion and spiritual radiance. So that sounds like something you think you'd find beneficial. I will put the name of the mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there, guys, and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.